incredibly interesting news. I'm just going to keep talking while we get rolling here a little bit. I can't see the comments yet, but hopefully we are rolling. Now it looks like we are. Olga Lautman back after my big absence last week. Sorry about that. I got two things confused last week, and we missed last week's Trump tyranny tracker. But it's so nice to see you again, Olga, on a
You
big news
too.
evening. Day 310 of the Trump administration, and we are tracking the most significant authoritarian developments of the last, I want to say 24 hours, but just in the last hour, we've had so much news break. Olga, and you were just talking to me about what Bloomberg is reporting around the Ukrainian-Russian so-called peace deal, and Bloomberg has got some big exclusives around it. What were they able to get?
A transcript, a phone call, a recording, an actual
An
recording.
actual
Um,
recording.
so, so what happened is that we all know that Witkoff was trying to, and Trump were trying to force Ukraine to surrender by Thursday, Thanksgiving, based on a plan that was prepared by Russia. And again, anyone who's followed Russia for, or knows Russian or monitors Russian news knows that this plan is Russian. They pitched it in Istanbul in 2022 when they were having talks with the Ukrainians. They pitched parts of it in Belarus in 2022. So this
At least
isn't
they're
a.
consistent, It's always the
I
same
mean,
thing.
yeah, they've demanded the same exact things,
Yeah.
which is basically, shredding Ukraine's military, having Ukraine hand over territory that Russia doesn't occupy. They've gone through it every year. So here, the latest with this is that Bloomberg obtained recordings of Steve Witkoff calling Yuri Ushakov, Putin's advisor, to basically tell him how to pitch the plan to Trump. Now, this recording is from October 14th. Interestingly enough, the Trump-Putin call was held on October 15th. He also told Ushakov, oh, by the way, Zelensky's, going to be in the White House at the end of the week. And he
Wow.
basically told him, what to say. Not that Trump needs much convincing because Trump himself is owned by the Russians, but he told them, how to frame their demands to make it look like it is something that would have come from Trump
Right.
and from the U.S. side. And
He's
that's
taking
it.
a
And the whole,
Russian plan and then
yeah,
telling the Russian advisor how to sell it to the American president. Wow.
exactly. I mean, in any other country, if we didn't live in a banana republic, and it's not just now, it feels like the past decade, um, people like this usually get arrested because
Yeah.
you cannot work for a foreign intelligence agency or for a foreign government to tell them what to do against the interest of, for instance, the United States or UK or Germany or any other country. But here we are. You have Witkoff, who is working for the Russians. I
Mm.
mean, this is as clear as day. It's been as clear as day since he stepped on the scene. He's been, doing everything. This is like the fourth time that they are trying to force Ukrainian surrender. And, and for me, it's, infuriating because people are dying in Ukraine. And I mean, the fact that, seeing America in this position, it's absolutely gross to see America, on the world stage that's like humiliating itself by working and acting as a proxy of Russia.
Yeah, it doesn't even work for the
But
Republicans anymore. Even Mitch McConnell was out criticizing today, saying, Trump is being made a fool by Putin by projecting this as anything other than the American plan. And of course, it's a non-starter. Then Rubio was out today with some sort of alternative that he crafted with Ukraine. That is not going to be acceptable to Russia. And so we're basically wasting our time yet again, which is what you've described time and time again. Every time there's been an attempt by Russia to sort of force a surrender, I don't even want to call it a peace deal.
no, it's not a peace
It's
deal. This
it's
is
charades, really.
Yeah, and this is why I laugh because, unfortunately, the American media is so idiotic. Like today, I was watching Wolf Blitzer in the morning, and I'm like, and he's like, the breaking news, we're on the verge of a plan.
Mm,
And finally, I can't believe it took 4 attempts of surrendering Ukraine to bring Ukrainian parliamentarian on finally,
mm.
Kira, she's amazing. And Kira finally, explained to Americans what the frickin' American media fails to explain. Ukraine has, is a country of laws. They have this weird thing called the Constitution,
So, uh,
They can't, Zelensky can't wave away an inch of land. No one can surrender land. She can't even, as a parliamentarian. The Rada doesn't have, you know, the power to surrender land.
it's just also not a done
That
thing in the world these days. So they're basically just changing, 70 years of international law. And did CNN finally get the picture? Do you think that they continue to?
No, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because Kira was on yesterday explaining to the American audience, that the only way anything can be transferred de facto Russian is for there to be a ceasefire, for martial law to get lifted, for the country to hold a referendum, and for Ukrainian people to vote. I mean,
Mm,
this is the procedure in Ukraine.
yeah.
Um, and sure enough, today with Wolf Blitzer's hopping up and down on steroids with his, oh my God, we're on the verge of a deal. No,
And,
we're not. We are as close to a deal as we were in December of last year, and January, and February, and March, April, and that's
yeah.
it. And like I keep saying, I promise you, this is all going to fade away. And then Trump is going to go and, start a war with Venezuela, which seems to be happening any minute, and, circle back around to this when he needs a distraction because things are going bad in Venezuela. Circle back to Ukraine again in January or something.
Meanwhile, Ukrainians, as you point out, are being killed and hurt overnight. Dozens
Yeah.
of Russian missiles slammed into Kyiv overnight, hitting apartment buildings, killing at least 7 civilians. And this just continues and endless. Every night, it seems almost there's something that's going on in Ukraine with the Russians, using missiles against civilian areas, civilian apartment buildings, and this just continues endlessly while they're pretending to talk about peace that they will never really agree to.
And this actually is what drives me nuts. And this is what drives me nuts for the past, we're almost at 12 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. The framing of this, like, why is this on the Ukrainians to stop as Russia
Mm,
continues its war
right.
crimes, its genocide? Like, why is it that everyone in Europe and the United States, and this is the same under the last administration, this is the same under every administration, in Europe, in every country over the past 4 years. Why is it that, they're not like using Russia's framework instead of saying that our demands are that Russia gets out of Ukraine?
Mm.
I mean, this is like the most absurd thing. If someone breaks into your house, is someone outside going to negotiate with the owner of the house and say, well, maybe you should give him a room, maybe, let him stay for 6 months? No, the police come and drag the person out of the house. End of story. So,
Well,
why is the framing this way that Russia needs to get out instead of we need to negotiate? Negotiate what?
Well, because the
Ukraine.
Russians have a control over the White House, and that's just the way it is, and they're able to
No,
do
but
it.
this is the past 4 years I've been
Yeah,
hearing about negotiations.
right.
Like
It's
why
always the framework from
negotiate?
right. They can
Yeah,
just
it's
pull
the
out their
frame.
weapons, pull out their army, and they can stop the war right now.
Exactly. And it's like, what is there to negotiate? They're the ones who invaded into a sovereign country. So you mean to tell me if someone invades the United States that there's going to be negotiations of getting them out? No.
We would see what happens. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? Our second story today on the Trump Tourney Tracker is all about the FBI now requesting interviews with 6 Democratic lawmakers, including Senators Mark Kelly and Elise Slotkin, after they appeared in a video reminding U.S. service members of their constitutional duty to disobey unlawful orders. 5 of the 6 are military veterans. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced the Pentagon would investigate Senator Kelly, a retired Navy captain and former astronaut. President Trump has called for the lawmakers to be arrested, calling their actions seditious and, quote, potentially punishable by death. This is,
I know.
we've reached a whole new level here where you've got people like, firstly, Mark Kelly, so decorated, so respected by so many people, and an astronaut. He might even get some benefit out of being court-martialed, because I don't think anyone's going to dare say anything to him or criticize him in any way, except the optics would make Trump look so bad.
Well, if we had a functioning FBI, they should be pulling in Witkoff right now and asking, why in the hell are you working for a foreign country? Because, whether they're an adversary or ally, as an American, you shouldn't be advising any country
Right.
while you are involved or
True.
have an official position. That's where the FBI really should be. But yeah, no, the whole thing is theater. This is all distraction. Clearly the only one who committed sedition was Trump on January 6th when he, conspired, not just ordering from, the podium for his insurrectionists to go and take back the country. But the fact that this went weeks of planning, this didn't happen overnight. This was a conspired, conspiracy where they planned to bring everyone in to Washington, D.C. They planned, with the fake electors to try to force Congress to decide the election instead of the American people, and Pence wouldn't bend. So this is sedition. If he wants to look at sedition, he should go look in the mirror. Is this going to go anywhere? Absolutely not. This is the same thing like he's weaponizing Department of Justice, and he got a good slap in the face yesterday with the courts basically saying, these cases against Letitia James and James Comey, they're legitimate because you're a district attorney. U.S. district attorney is illegitimate. And
Not
that's it.
only did that, it made up the charges, basically. It had given the foreman charges
Yeah.
that she had just made up and instructed him to process them. That's Lindsay Halligan. Of course, he's getting resoundingly rejected by a lot of judges right now. When it comes to the Schiff cases, there's a lot of evidence there to show that there's really strange goings on in the investigation of Adam Schiff. There's really strange things happening here with Mark Kelly and Elise Slotkin. And then on top of that, you've got the Comey and Letitia James charges being tossed out. It all makes him look really quite guilty when he's busy trying to say everyone else is guilty and they're all being found innocent.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And that just shows, these aren't the brightest people in the bunch. And, Trump himself is not bright. He thinks, he is acting like a dictator, except it's in the wrong country because he hasn't fully grabbed the country, and grabbed full control of the country. So, maybe in a banana republic, you can get away with, although I don't know any dictator who'd put on social media, go prosecute these people, and then their justice ministry of justice will hop on and say, okay, sir, let's do
Well,
it.
it was leaked, right?
But
Originally, it was meant to be a DM, but then it leaked. He actually put it on public Twitter or Public Truth Social by mistake. Apparently, this was meant to be a DM to Pam Bondi in the original instance. It's it's
which
it,
again, go
It's
ahead.
insane. It's insane. I've never seen anything like it. Even in a
No.
banana republic, I don't think anyone would do anything like that. The third
No.
story today, this is developing this evening. Originally Indiana Republican leaders had decided not to back the congressional redistricting map in their state. Now they've been bullied into doing it. According to reporting tonight, they've announced they will vote on a new congressional map. Trump has demanded that they do it. 2 weeks ago, there weren't enough votes for it, but now they're going to try and pull it through. The reversal came after Trump publicly attacked holdout Republicans by name, calling Senate leader Roderick Bray a rhino, and promised to back primary challengers. Several Indiana lawmakers have reportedly been targeted with swatting and death threats. Trump praised the decision again, threatened with those who oppose it with repercussions, promising to partner with the incredibly powerful MAGA grassroots to primary anyone who doesn't fall in line. I mean, that's appalling. Just appalling.
Actually, that's actually a very good sign. Because if Trump was so confident in being able to have full control of the midterms, and that they were confident that they can actually, manipulate the vote like other autocratic countries, they wouldn't be pushing this hard on the gerrymandering. And I think that Republicans will need a Hail Mary. I mean, they'll need to have the whole country gerrymandered in order to have a chance if things keep going the way they're going. Because, I mean, the mood in the country, like, really, it's affecting every household. We see the economy's not in good shape, and people are more so than it being on the wrong path is the fact that people feel it. And once you feel negative about the economy, you're negative about the people in power. So, we got a good taste beginning of November. And this is why I say whatever happens next week, I don't care next year for midterms. I don't care if there are, National Guard standing at polls or, whatever intimidation tactics they try to use. We need to push through. We need to come in mass numbers in order to get this country back on the right track. And I mean, with, Marjorie Taylor Greene is leaving.
Yeah, I wanted to
Uh,
ask you about that. What are your thoughts about as real breakaway faction there? It's not just Marjorie Taylor Greene; it's others as well that appear to be poised to leave the MAGA Republican fold and move into either a breakaway party or some sort of breakaway faction within the Republican Party that is going to be opposed to Trump. That's quite a big development.
yeah, and it's been happening since the summer. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you started seeing the split first with Iran.
Mm-hmm.
You had, the MIGA, the anti-Semites call MAGA MIGA, which is Make Israel Great Again.
I've
And
no doubt.
yeah, yeah. Do a search, a keyword search, MIGA, and you'll see all the anti-Semites and the America First people calling that. So you have the MAGA party, the MIGA party, the whatever party, and it's been happening. It started with Iran because you had all the America First people and the anti Semitic part of the party, which is a large chunk, who were absolutely opposed to U.S. getting involved in striking Iran on the behalf of Israel. And that's Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Tucker Carlsons, the Nick Fuentes, and on and on and on. Then you have, the Laura Loomers and the Pathiabics and whatever, they're in another faction. And they've been breaking. I mean, I've been watching this since June. It's been fascinating to see because, like, they're all fracturing. And these are people, not the bots and trolls, which we'll get to, but these are actually real people, real influencers, real, we see the Heritage Foundation imploding with people resigning. And I mean, there's a big scandal there with the president defending Fuentes. Then you have the Epstein thing that threw, another wedge into this and caused further cracks. Then you had the Venezuela, the Argentina thing, the bailout to Argentina, which again infuriated America First
Yeah.
crowd because they're like, what are we doing here? And it's just going to continue because Trump is not concerned about America. To be America First, you have to be concerned about
Right.
America. He absolutely couldn't care less about America.
And new USA, YouGov poll with the Economist magazine came out today, and it shows Donald Trump at his lowest approval ratings in the second term. I think it maybe dipped a little bit lower in his first term, but it's his really low point now at just 38% approval. That's a 19% gap there between the disapproval and approval. People are not are not finding any interest in his policies across the board here. And when you look at the more details of this, there's just a drilling down here. I mean, you may not be able to see it because it's a bit fine, but as you point out, he's negative in every single issue, everything from the economy into tariffs, into inflation, into this. This is the Marquette poll as well, backing up the other results, all the way down to the Argentina mess. Where he just every single thing is below water on, not doing very well at all. And when you look at the projections into the next midterms, 49% Democrat, GOP 44%. So he really does need that gerrymandering in order to get through this in the next.
I don't even think that would
I don't
help
think it's
him.
going to help either.
Uh,
But the one thing I found really
Honestly.
interesting was this economic pain. Is 46% of Americans, or I think it's Americans, say that Trump has hurt them with economic pain because of his policies, and that's pretty, dramatic for a guy who's claiming that he's got the best economy in the entire world.
When you throw tariffs as much as 50, 60%, who's paying for it? We are,
Yeah,
as much as he'd like to say that the other countries are paying, we're the ones paying for this. So of course, I mean, everywhere you go, everything's more expensive. The electric bill is through the roof, all the utilities, and the economy's going to get worse because with the tracker, I document, we never cover it, but I document, have a economy section. And I mean, you have defaults of cars up in their highest level, and I don't even know how long. And all the underlying factors in the economy are like, flashing red. I mean,
absolutely. There's
so
only a few
whatever's,
companies that are really driving the economy right now. These AI companies, you take them out of the mix, and everyone else is really suffering. So that trickles down very easily, and it puts us on a very knife's edge, really, in terms of the economy collapsing or the stock market crashing at a very specific point. Let's speaking of the AI and the so-called AI revolution, what's happening over at X was quite fascinating this week. A new feature called the About This account revealed that numerous popular MAGA influencer accounts were actually originating from Nigeria, Eastern Europe, and India, not the United States. It's not news to us. We, of course, have been saying this for years, but an account called MAGA Nation X, claimed to be a patriot voice for we the people, was exposed as Eastern European. MAGA Scope, featuring Trump in a tuxedo with American flag emojis, was started in Nigeria in 2024, of all places. This is interesting. I mean, it seems to be something that X did on their own. The data is still a bit questionable, but it proves what we've been saying for a long time.
yeah, I've been tracking disinformation and bots and trolls since Russia invaded Ukraine in 2014, because initially they started, the whole focus was on Ukraine. And then by 2015, part of it shifted over to the United States elections and Brexit, um, and whatnot. But yeah, it was actually the funniest thing I've ever seen. I think my favorite one was someone pulled up an account, some hamster something,
Mhm.
from last July,
Indeed.
a little over a year ago, saying, like, oh, call me old fashioned, but I, think that foreigners should not be able to vote in our elections, blah, 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 whatever. Ends up the account is United Arab Emirates. And the person who found this account quote tweeted it and said, you don't even have elections.
That's hilarious. I mean, it's so true that all these countries are not exactly, democratic countries or hold of their constitution or rule of law. Well, they're
Well,
also, it's just not very functioning. A lot of these countries.
no, but now let's go to it. Nigeria is known to be a huge location for Russia to run their bot and troll
Mhm.
networks, because not everything is run out of St. Petersburg. They pounce them around the planet, and you have a huge, huge amount. I mean, at upwards of one case there was 100,000 that were uncovered that were operating out of Nigeria. So they use Nigeria for their hate call it
There's a
bots
lot of
and
English
trolls.
speakers there, so it's a lot easier for them to
Um,
create that content.
and then you also have South Asia, and also it's not even where they even employ people,
Mhm.
because they just use that to ping it so it looks like it's coming from
Right.
Nigeria and not coming from Russia.
Right.
Um, Same thing, Eastern Europe. I mean, God knows, because it said specifically Eastern Europe, non-EU.
Mm.
So this, can be Slovakia. This can be Belarus. I mean, Belarus is known to have a lot of hey, called bot and troll accounts. I remember even now working on a case where there were bot and troll accounts on a particular disinformation operation coming out of Latvia, um, again, hosted off of the service. So, same thing with South Asia, same thing with Africa. I mean, wherever these locations, it's not that it's even the people from those countries.
Right.
This is Russia's operation, and they're carrying these operations out, and it just,
What do you think?
became. Mhm.
Sorry. What do you think? The incentive is for X to be putting this out there. I mean, why did he create this feature that basically outs his entire platform as a mirage, basically for people to sell this MAGA idea to Americans?
That's a good question, and I honestly I don't have an answer for
Mm.
that because I figured that once they saw everyone hopping on it over the weekend because it started, the feature was coming online on Friday, then went offline, then started coming back, and they were kind of rolling it out. Once it became available over the weekend fully, that you could click on any account and see, when you click joined and see where it is, who's using a VPN, where they're using their VPN from. I figure that he'd say, this is not good for my business and whatnot. But no, I don't know. I
It's difficult. You
I
can
don't know.
explain Elon Musk to anybody. It's hard. It's hard to figure out what he's up to.
Whatever it is, that's the best features since the edit button because it gave people really like, that it reaffirmed that this is exactly what is happening, because people like me, you, and others say this, and I have been saying this, and I've been working on these disinformation networks forever, but. If people don't want to believe it and they're like, oh, you're just, against Russia, this is why you're saying it. Now you could see for your own eyes. Your your amalgamation is, out of Nigeria. Have
Yeah,
fun.
it is a great feature actually. Olga, what do you have going on right now at Unmasking Russia and at the Trump Tyranny Tracker? There's a lot of good content you're creating, and I've loved your series on the white nationalism.
Yeah, I am working on another chapter of the far right that should be out hopefully by tomorrow. Um, and Russia's weaponization of the global far right. It focuses not just US because Russia is doing the same across the world, including Canada, for many, many years.
Mm.
Um, so I am working on that, and that's pretty much it right now. I've been kind of overwhelmed trying to catch up with things. I got sidetracked finishing up my semester
Oh yeah,
in
how's
school.
your coding going? Are you doing well?
Yeah, I'm actually doing good. I can't believe it. The semester's like done in 2 weeks. I have a few projects that I need to finish. I am now almost a month smoke free.
Yay!
Haven't
I was going to
touched a
ask you about that.
cigarette.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
Haven't touched a cigarette, thought about a cigarette. I walked by someone who was smoking and almost threw up. I was like, don't tell me I smelled like that.
Oh
This
my
is
gosh, that's amazing!
horrible.
Congratulations, that is such good
Thank
news.
you.
What
What's going
can
on
you
with
tell me
you?
the? Are you allowed to tell me the drug that were using in the medical?
Yeah, yeah,
What's it
it's
called?
varenicline. It used to be
Okay,
Chantix, but they took
okay.
Chantix off the market. But it's varenicline, which is the generic version. It is really amazing. I mean, my aunt took it over a decade ago. I remember probably like 14, 15 years ago. She
Right.
took it. Um, and same thing, she would smoke like a chimney. I mean, you could picture, and she drinks a lot of vodka. So, so you could imagine how many cigarettes
Yeah.
accompany that. But she, same thing, started taking it, and like within a week, she just
Did it
dropped
stop
it
her
and
from
never
drinking the
touched it.
vodka as well, or did it
No,
keep?
no,
No, just the
no.
cigarettes.
But she didn't want a cigarette with the
It's
vodka.
a small wins, but that's great. That's amazing. Congratulations. I'm sure it's
Thank
encouraging
you.
people who are watching to try if they smoke as well to
Yes,
quit.
please. I'm telling you, this is the miracle drug, and it takes not that much effort and a few weeks to go through the physical withdrawals. Not that you want a cigarette, but that, the nicotine is leaving your body and you still have you're anxious and like, all over the place and like cloudy and whatever. But after you pass that, I mean, now it's been a month, and I'm fine. If
That's
anything, more
amazing.
hyper.
What a great way to get to Thanksgiving for you. And it's great to see you again. Of course, everyone should check out the Trump Tyranny Tracker, where everyone can get all the latest information on where the Trump administration is taking away your democracy day by day, as Olga updates that, and at Unmasking Russia, where you've got your other big Substack, and you're doing this great series on Russia and extremism around the world. So great to see you,
What
Olga.
about you?
Oh, I've got on narrative.org. We're doing, book 2 of The Greatest Heist, which is my exploration into everything Trump and Epstein. In book 2, we're looking at 2008. We're looking at how Jeffrey Epstein was really involved in crashing the market in 2008, and how it involved JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, the entire executive of that bank, and how it all ties into the prosecution by the Palm Beach Police Department and the FBI. It's quite an interesting tale, and we're only on chapter 3, so I hope people check it out. I hope you check it out, and I'd like to hear your thoughts when you get a moment. So that's happening right
Definitely.
now at narrative.org, and you don't even have to spell it here because it's right there on the screen.
Finally.
NARATIV.org. How good is that?
Finally.
Small victories, right? Thank you, Olga. Have a great night. Have a great Thanksgiving to you and
And
yours. Oh,
happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And please, I'm asking everyone as you celebrate this Thanksgiving, keep Ukraine in your thoughts because what is happening there on a nightly basis, I mean, people are still buried under rubble right now after the latest attack. And it feels like every other day people are being pulled out of rubble. And I mean, Russia is strategically hitting Ukrainians. So I ask everyone who's watching, please just, keep Ukraine in your thoughts and that's it. It's not going to be
it's a
peaceful
good
there.
it's a good thought
Or
for Thanksgiving for everybody. We're very blessed in America. Have a great night, everybody, and have a great
bye.
night, Olga. Bye bye.